and welcome to Patrick's Models and Transport. Right here in this tiny clothes bag there is a whistle. The whistle for the railcar, one of the two whistles. So how did I make the whistles? A little bit of copper wire and a small section of heat shrink insulation, a very narrow, the smallest one. Right, I'll show you that there, which I cut it, fitted it around, and then heated it in position using a cigarette lighter. And I've just painted this gold brass, let's see. And I did this one off camera, and now we'll do the other one together. So here we are. I hope I hope you're going to see what I'm doing. I'm trying to hold this in position. Excuse me. Righto, here I've got my golden paint. It's out of sight, you can't see it, but there you go. So I'm going to paint this with a spot of gold coloured paint, Vallejo paint, which is brass, of course, simulating brass. I hope it's not going to fly across the room because that would be very annoying. There we go. And these are going to be glued onto the roof. Okay, I think I'm sort of, the phone is to the side, so I have to sort of see what I'm doing. Okay, there we are, that's nice. So I'll just let this dry, and I'm just going to leave everything on the desk overnight. And I've got a ton of brushes to clean now because it's a mess, and a whole lot of water that I have to get rid of. Okay, right, so now, having done this important job, I'm going to show you what's been going on. So you can see by the colors here, I've been using some red, I've been using some yellow, and let's go and have a look at the railcar now. Oh, hold on. Let's put an interesting background. Okay, righto. There's a railcar, and there's an interesting background. And these are the... Okay, so that's Pitești railway station, which is now in Romania, which has now been completely rebuilt with the Class 77 rail buses and a Class 62 diesel electric locomotive. Okay, so this is the rail car in, I would say, nearly finished condition. So I've painted the yellow destination boards. I'll fit decals, I'll print decals for them. And as you know from previous videos, those destination boards are there to cover the holes that clip the body onto the chassis. Then I've painted the front buffer beam, first coat of red paint to the front buffer beam and to the radiator grille. Of course, I've not painted the buffers yet, do them last because they'll be painted black. And here's the other end. As you can see, I have sort of, some of the red paint in this case was a bit too diluted, and some of it made a bit of a mess over here. So I'm going to have to, at the end, I'll have to mix some more dark blue and correct that. There are a couple of points I'll have to correct. Here on this side it's okay, but here I'll have to mix some dark blue and do some touch up there. Otherwise it's, and even a wee spot up here as well. So there are a couple of points where there's some light blue overlapped, for example, right there. You can see I'll have to correct that. So there are a few corrections in dark blue to do. This was tricky, as you saw in last night's video, because there's no these 0.30 millimeter styrene doors have been glued onto the bodywork. There isn't a cut. This was much easier. The cab door and the luggage compartment roller blind were much easier because I made an incision around it and the paint would stop. It was like a dam, you understand? This was really tricky. In the case of the destination boards, I just used a flat brush and was very careful not to go and overlap onto the white beading under the windows, and I think it came very well. So we need to correct it a bit here. You can see there's a bit of a mess there. So there are the odd correction here and there. We'll do that last. I'm quite pleased because it's beginning to really look the part. I'm going to have to do a job on a chassis because I tested it the other day and those silly Jouef gears were coming out. So I'm going to have to apply some ball bearing retaining agent to stop things from falling to bits when I lift it up. The Achilles heel is divided as a Jouef. But if I'd had a Lima chassis, I would have had to build it. It wouldn't have fitted. It would have been much too tall with the G-class motor. So anyway, this is how it's looking, and let me know what you think. It's really quite nice, I think. I mean, I like it, of course, but of course it's my personal. I created it, so I'm allowed to say I like it. That's quite interesting, and I've been looking at more photographs on Railfan Europe of Romanian rail cars, and I think I'm going to I'll just draw the wiper blades to all three front windows. I think I've been looking at different rail cars, and I would like to do a little bit of cab detail, something very, very basic, because these are the only see-through windows are these ones here, because then the chassis begins. I'll see if I can sort of botch up a wee bit of cab detail, you know, with a engine cowling or something. I'll think about that, but I'll do that once I fit it to the bodywork. So that's it. And there in the background you can see Vitesse railway station in 2010. That was when I had a very nice ride on the Malaxa rail cars. There they are, these rail buses. And I inspired my green rail bus that you've seen on previous videos. It was freely inspired by the Malaxa, by the Romanian Malaxa Class 77. I would really like to be able to build one of them from scratch. Apparently, there is a company that makes a static version in 3D print. I'd have to look that up, because it would be very interesting to have the bodywork, 3D printed bodywork, and then to adapt it to one of these Lima locomotive chassis, the one of the V100 shunting engine that I've already used for my own railcar. That would be very interesting. Okay, very well, and that's that for the moment. If you like the video, give it a like, subscribe to the channel and click the notification bell, and I'm away to clean some brushes and to have a shower and go to my bed. Cheerio, and see you next time. Ciao, ciao.